Rick was 4 years younger than I was, and he was a tag-along, you might say. Even before we moved to the farm and never came back to civilization, he was tagging along. But when you kind of get used to it in those days, you just do it. So we always went a lot of places together in the neighborhood, and then we moved to the farm, and there were just two of us, so we had become good buddies. You know, when you're out in the boonies, what seemed like the boonies then, you kind of made your own fun, and we had horses, we had a creek, we had a farm, so what else could we ask for? We had it made. Through the years, luckily, you know, we ended up in business together with Dad, and very few families can do that. So I don't know, we just hung around a lot together and got along. So, I mean, honest to goodness, there are times when you bark at each other, but even on the movie, we'll look at each other like, or he'll bring me some of this script and we'll go over 5 or 6 pages and I'm going, you know, how can we afford this? How can we do that? You've got too many people. And we discuss it, but one thing about Rick's writing, it's not in stone. Even when we get the final script, for Tom and I, it's not in stone at all, because he knows we're going to go out and around, but we're going to come back. So he just kind of lets us go, and it works out. So we've had a lot of fun working together. He has a degree in business. I have a degree in double major of sociology and psychology. So I'm very social, and I can psych people out in a minute. So in those days, I didn't want to go back and get work on a master's, and I got hired on for the government out in New Mexico, but it didn't take long to figure out that the people that were on welfare were making more money than I was. So Dad said, why don't you just come back for a few minutes, and then 100 years later, we're still here. But as far as a real job, no, I grew up plowing for our neighbors and for Dad, and then I worked in Disneyland a summer, and that was a joy, that's an adventure. But besides that, you know, it was always here or working in the store or doing that, so we were always pretty close in.